Okay.
Hey everybody, quick YouTube intro. This is a small group meeting between myself, Andre, and Chris. Today, got a whole lot of stuff to go on. And who is M? I don't recognize M. Oh, there we go. Okay. That's Chris's video. Yeah, so got a whole bunch of stuff to go over today. I think the DPID website is now in draft. We've got the RDA blog post in a phase where it's ready for final edits. We did the grant schedule and the conference schedule for DPIDs. The NL-NET proposal is another one that we need to be working on. And then I'm sure that there's more to discuss and talk about, but we've also got the agenda for tomorrow's meeting. So a lot of stuff going on, but all good stuff. Andre, is there anything I'm missing here?
No, no. And for this evening, we have a lot of things to do, so we can proceed over the list we agreed yesterday.
All right. Why don't we go ahead and start with the agenda for tomorrow's meeting. So I'm going to see if I can find that in the Mattermost. Do you have any idea where that
In the
actually?
Mattermost, yes, it's on our conversation.
Oh, Lord. We love knowledge management. Good stuff. Uh, check this. Okay, it's in public forum under a thread.
Yes, under the
Up to
thread.
this. Yeah. Okay. The thread is good news. I found a partner for us to help navigate grant
Yes,
applications.
yes, yes. I am keeping it on the screen, so we can see the first point is prospectus dissemination. And what I wanted to say, it's actually already started because I downloaded it several times as a PDF, sending it to my friends and colleagues in the Italian universities. You know how slow the Italian bureaucracy are.
Yeah, if we're being honest, I've kind of already sent it around as well to a couple folks under the guise of hey, can you provide feedback on this? But yeah, dissemination probably started about 2 weeks ago, but it's still in the format of a Google Doc. We have not minted it into a DPID yet. So it is not, I guess, permanently recorded or persistently recorded. So still opportunities for change, but I think at this point it is what it is.
I think so. We can do a green light, then to inform the group on next meeting tomorrow and mint the DPID.
I think that's good. The main thing that I want to get out of that is planning for dissemination. So the green light should be a 2-minute check mark, but figuring out how, people think the best way to help spread this is. So if we've got, 10 people on the call, let's talk to folks about who they think would be interested and how they can get it in front of relevant folks.
Yeah, and we can do some kind of, let's say, 5 minutes round table,
Yeah.
asking the people how they would disseminate this. I think it will be a pretty good idea.
Yeah, I think that's solid. With the understanding that most folks who are here are observers, probably aren't quite ready to start disseminating, but
Yeah?
it's a start. Um, so 5-minute round table. All right. Vision and mission ideation. That's
Yes.
next.
Yeah, for vision and mission, let me find now.
We have a lot of work to do on that.
Yes, yes, we have a lot of work and um so what do you about Anita's comments? I saw only one, so we can add the version and the authors for sure.
Well, I don't know if we're even really in a draft state at this point. Like I think we jumped the gun in making a draft based on what we heard from Yorgos.
Yeah.
There's what we have there is raw notes, so I don't really know that there's anything to sign. Um, maybe this is another round of comments. I know we got some from Line, if I'm not mistaken, and have kind of worked to revise, but there's more to do, I think is kind of the point. I don't know that it's even signature ready.
Yeah, no, it's not a signature ready, and well, for here as a non-native speaker, I would ask for help from
Yeah,
you, Chris, and all of the others American people.
yeah. Chris is not American, by the way, but yeah, that's definitely one that's on my plate. It's just a lot of stuff. So I think this is less of a document-based topic and more of just a general conversation. What do you see the mission of this as? This is another one of these roundtable conversations, or maybe it's just an open conversation. But hearing from people what missions that they've really loved, what they want to see coming out of this group, what changes they hope to see in the world from this technology, that would be my take.
Yes, I think it will be again really a good idea for the roundtable because, well, for sharing the mission, it's quite difficult to harmonize. It will be probably the most let's say popular topic here will be that our technology would gather the people to share their metadata and to provide the redundancy for each other.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it even goes beyond that in looking at the prominence of artifact fragmentation and the scalability of persistence as a contributing factor to the replication crisis. Ultimately, what I hope this technology can do is provide a better foundation for solving the climate crisis. And that may be a little too lofty, may not necessarily tie into a vision itself, but that's definitely a part of it. So just having these discussions all the way down from the replication of data up through helping solve the climate crisis is a part of it. And then the two of us can come back after once we have a little bit more feedback and work on that. But this mission and vision does not have to be done tomorrow or next week or next month. This is a continuous process.
Yes, yes, and just not to let me forget about this. I had a little conversation today with Georgos because he cannot participate now, and he said that it would be even better for us before developing the complete vision and mission to have some sort of white paper.
Mhm.
I also wrote about this in the agenda document
Okay.
in the notes. Uh, uh, White paper incorporating the list of collaborations and the partnership with the research institutions, because we are on the way for writing a proposal to Elettra, and this what we really could discuss with the people tomorrow.
Okay. Um, So then, if that's the case, really what we're going for is less about mission and vision and more about early stage collaboration. And I think
Yes.
Chris has done some work on a white paper. I don't know if it's an exact alignment as to what Yorgos is thinking, but I think his is more of conceptual work around the intersection of open science, fair science, and the decentralized web, and I believe meta science is in there as well. So that might be an interesting point, but might not necessarily be related to exactly what you're trying to do at Electro. But okay, yeah, we can definitely push for institutional collaborations and small.
Uh, y- yes, and in the white paper, as we discussed again with Georgos, in the white paper, it should be indicated what would be the first, let's say, the first possible benefit the research institution would obtain, for example, installing our system over the IPFS node. So once the only question, first it will be placed for us what we would obtain once we will have it.
So the white paper would be targeted at institutions. Would this be a
Yes,
repository? Would it be a library? Would it be
technical leads. It's more structured now. It's for technical leading, let's say technical leaders and the managers one level above.
So it's almost more of a technical, so it's more about well, how would you call it? It's like not a policy document, but it's like a document that outlines the why this should be of interest to technical leads around institutions, right?
Statement of interest, I think, something like that.
Yes, I'm thinking of what's the proper term for this. I mean, I don't want to call it a marketing pamphlet, right?
It is not. It is not. The point is, also, I spoke about this with my boss, Roberto, who said that it should be clear for the, let's say, the authority, some levels above, why we should not refuse to use this technology.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and this is maybe it would be the proposition material for Elettra, because it should be done officially.
Yes, I agree with that. And Elettra is a wonderful test bed for us to work with, where we have better connections with some of the leadership and they can help us refine some of these
Yeah,
drafts.
yes, and just to let you know that the procedure is the following. After the first agreement, it would be the review proposition for the coordination committee. Afterwards, if it will be the green light for us, it would be a technical proposition, and then the green light for everything.
Wonderful. And this, I'm assuming it gets done in a smaller test case would be the way to go about it.
Yeah. Well, the first test case, it could be also deployed on one of my servers as a demonstrator.
Mhm.
Let's say the very first demonstrator about how it is working for the literal institution.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be very valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's also going to be a good occasion for us to learn what are all the potential blockers. So I think that's going to be a good learning experience.
Exactly, and I can say now that because I was spent some time debugging my IPFS infrastructure, and there is one, let's say, slowing factor, which is a Bloom filter. I've done some research debugging my system, so just to let you know. And but now it's not a time to talk about this. Yeah.
I think we understand kind of where we're going with that. So instead of mission and vision ideation, we should probably change that to be something, that section to be something closer to initial proof of concept, or how would you phrase it?
White paper,
Benefits, right?
or benefits proposal.
Okay.
Yeah, benefits proposal. Like why this is a what are the benefits, and why you should care about that.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
So it's quite different from what I'm working on as a white paper. And it's also quite different from what we've been working on all together as a DPID proposal for the FDO conference, right? So it does tie into these things, but it might be its own distinct thing. So, and we can reuse some elements from these different pieces of work. I think from the institutional perspective, there's a lot of interesting benefits around the ability to interoperate with data between repositories, the ability to search across network. So So we have to think. We have to think, and also there's a lot of interest in general around self-sovereign as or institutionally sovereign data publishing. Right, that's another big one.
Yes, let's just a bit later. I will tell about when we will discuss conference and grant prioritization. I will tell the plans I have
Okay.
about these topics.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
Another question with regards to that. So the first point here is the prospectus dissemination. Then the next point is ideation for the benefits proposal.
yeah.
Does it make sense for the two of these to tie together from a planning standpoint, where the people who get the prospectus now get the statement of benefits a month from now?
I think yes, it makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, so, but I don't know how fast it would be done.
I mean, it's going to take us a little while, but the two of us move pretty fast, so for better or worse. Okay. But yes, that's definitely going to take time. Okay. I understand where you're going with it. That's going to be a fun document to write.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go for conference and grant identification.
Yeah. I mean, to me, that is likely going to be, once again, just an open discussion. We send everyone the links to both and
Yeah.
ask them to add either the conferences or the grants that they think are relevant. The conferences with a focus on things that are either virtual, free, or don't require travel, and an understanding that if you're putting the conference on here, it would be great if you could be the one to go present. Because Andre, this should be more than just you and I. I'm happy to do a lot of the organizational work behind the scenes, but want there to be as many voices as possible. So I think that's a part of it. And then the same thing with the grants. Hopefully, whoever puts it on there can help with the writing. If not, that's okay. But even beyond that, grants that are more focused on infrastructure and allow us to work on DPID for the sake of DPID, not tying into larger initiatives that kind of, to Yorgos's point, have the potential to kind of suck out the soul of the working group itself. Where it's not a bad thing to put those on, and it's definitely something worth considering for higher volume grants, but our ideal situation is $100,000 that we can use, which is more targeted to what we want to use it for. Also, we need to think about travel funding in any of these grants. That would be really nice.
Yeah. For me, this year I'm counting that it will be only possible to travel within Italy.
Yep.
So yeah, so just to let you know about the things that I am really willing to do. I'm looking for at first the uh, DataSys Congress in Venice,
Yep.
on which I think I will develop the draft abstract very soon to make a paper about because it's just 6 pages paper. Make a paper about the openness and fair in as an advantage of the infrastructure. So it's less technical and more generalized point of view.
Okay.
And then, yeah, and then to propose the PID.
Okay.
Yeah, it's for data sys. The more specialized topic is for EUCOMES, because EUCOMES, it's for me, it's, let's say, the native association, because I am a member of a International Federation of Mechanism Science. And I had in the past a project about alignment of IPFS and robotics.
Okay.
So I have a pretty good plan to revive this project and to discuss a bit the decentralization in context of let's say the multi-robot environment.
Yeah.
So I think we can align on this.
Okay. So it would be this one and this one, just to make
Yeah.
sure.
Yes. And for virtual plenary, I am ready to be a presenter,
Yep.
but I will be in the need of help in definition of what we will more want to speak about, and to
Well,
define and to define an initial abstract. I am willing to have to do a lot of work to writing the abstract itself and the paper, but assistance I need.
well, okay. So this is one of the things that I read in the RDA virtual plenary. It seems like the only people who can apply for speaking spots are individual RDA working groups. So I don't know if we can actually get that, or if we do, we need to get it in tandem with a working group. So I still need to do more work reading through the fine print on that. Thankfully, we've got 2 or 3 weeks before we have to do that. So as long as I read it by the end of the week, we should be good. But if that is the case, we probably need to figure out a specific working group that we tie into. And I think something data quality, data versioning might actually be the most interesting path. I know that there are other groups like PIDs and tooling that could be interesting or interested in this. So we may want to go through and look at what can be. Another thing to think about, ultimately, our goal at this point is reach. It's recruitment. It's trying to make sure that people have heard about DPID, and if they are interested, have had the opportunity to join. So in doing so, maybe it's better for us to have small speaking spots across a wider variety of sessions. So collaboration with multiple working groups. But instead of a full hour and a half speaking slot, it's 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Here I can agree. For me, it's also from the labor point of view, it's a bit of relief. So if we would have many 5-10 minutes talks, it will be better.
And it would not be hard for us to make a 5 to 10 minute talk about how DPID facilitates data versioning. That would be, especially if that includes Q&A, I think is something that could easily be done.
Yeah. Yeah. So we can count on this.
So can I put myself as the lead on this one actually? Because you've got the other two with DataSys and EU comms, and I want to make sure that this one doesn't fall through just based on volume because there's a lot going on.
Well, for EUCOMS, it's definitely my part of work.
Okay.
Yeah. Also with let's say with oh no, I didn't add this conference here because I also received a proposition from my friend from University of Cassino to disseminate our work, but I will add it, and we can also participate there. But still, they are more oriented to robotics and control.
And that's fine. That's not a
Yet,
problem. I mean, going to some of these domain-specific conferences who have needs is important.
yes, and we can use them to disseminate about the idea why the people should care about this decentralization in context of identification of data. In robotics, for me it's pretty clear, and yeah, I will take this part with my pleasure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next thing is EOSC Symposium. I think I would speak also with my bosses at Eletra.
Symposium. Scroll back over.
Yeah.
this 2024 in Berlin, or the
Uh,
gen?
yes, so the symposium, not the General Assembly.
Okay.
Yes, because the General Assembly is still not announced properly, but the symposium is announced, and we can participate from both sides, from Electra to demonstrate, let's say, the um, not the achievements, but the current state of implementation of FAIR, and from our point of view, from our point as a working group. But it's the topic that should be discussed also between us, Georgos, and the other Electra staff. I think it's for now we can just count that we would participate, and the event is quite big.
This is quite big. We can try. I mean, I think it would be definitely be interesting if we can get on there. Perhaps we can tie in with some of the other EOSC related members.
Yeah,
Ibor has put a lot of work into the meta resolver, and it could be an interesting point in terms of PID technology instead of a PID system and some of the reverse compatibility with DOI. So there are some interesting things we can do here. Once they open up proposals, we definitely need to be watching for this.
yeah.
Can we start knocking some of these off the list?
Yeah, so
Going to. I'd
yes,
like
this
to water Psycon, if you don't mind.
yes, please. It is definitely discarded.
Okay. Let's go ahead and discard. Ooh, what just happened there? Hold up. Where did that? Oh, the EGU, not EOSC. I
Yeah,
saw
and TNC also, I think we can discard.
Okay. So these three are still good. TDI, do you want to do that one? I mean, it's in Rome.
Yes, TDI and ITA data. The TDI is now in, I think I will put it in priority.
Okay. Okay, prioritized. I'll go ahead and prioritize this one and this one. So it seems like the next 2, 3 weeks is going to be focused on writing conference proposals for you.
Yes, I will. As now it seems that I should write three proposals or papers. So yeah, I will dedicate these weeks to do it.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, is Electra okay to front the money for that?
Uh, to be honest, I don't know because I have a gap in my contract. This is why I may dedicate so many time for doing this. Yeah, but it's a bureaucracy. It's a bureaucracy point, and after I will receive a new contract, I will ask. I don't think it will be. It will be a bigger problem, for example, for going to Elcomes
Okay.
and to Itadata.
Okay.
But we
Gotcha.
should speak about what. But we should speak about this with my bosses.
Okay. Gotcha. So we'll put these three as prioritized, and then everything else, the web archiving conference. Once again, I'm just not traveling to Paris to present. We don't have a French representative to speak in Paris.
Also, for me, I think it will be impossible. So we can just keep it in the watch list and to ask the people on the round table if someone is willing to do.
Okay. Yep. Okay. For web archiving. Okay, sounds good. Then I think that's a pretty good summary for the conferences that we're looking at right now.
Yeah.
I'll continue working with Marshall on the initial draft for the Year of Open Science. I know we got it down to 200 words, but the flow may need to be revised on that.
Yes, and well, I made one little edit, so it's now exactly 200 words, and we can proceed with this.
Yeah, there's a lot that can come out of that one, but I think this is it would be an interesting one for him to go to as a presenter, and I'm excited that he's enthusiastic about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so shall we proceed to the grants?
Yep, let's do it. So right now we've only got these four. And I went ahead and put monetary value and duration in there as well.
Yeah,
Um,
for the NGI at zero, well, definitely I need an assistance to write the proposal because I have a very limited experience.
as do I, but I can always make a draft and people can tell me it's wrong. I'll take lead authorship on this one. And we're going for the full 50,000, right? There's no
Yeah,
reason.
and I think it will be really an important question for everyone tomorrow about ellipse Oscars because it's actually covers almost everything we need.
Yeah, yeah. But that's one. Does this need to be a larger cohesive consortium-based grant? Is this something we can apply for just as like Electra and the working group?
Well, we can apply as from the letter. I see from scratch, but from the side of this Labs, it should be possible too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also today we spoke with Georgos about. I will share now the link in through the chat about the Helmholtz and Helmholtz
Right.
questions about are we fitting inside or not. For Helmholtz is quite well known, so if we are eligible to propose a project for the grant, it will be a great opportunity, but they are more AI oriented.
I mean, that's fine. I think this does tie into artificial intelligence. That shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, yeah, I think we could tie with this, at least for sharing and identifying the data sets and test cases.
Yeah. And plus, do we have any? We did have someone from Helmholtz, didn't we? I forget who it was.
Okay, and there is another link I am sharing right now. So it's the projects.
Past projects. Okay.
Yeah.
Smile vector of climate change, machine learning driven content. Yeah, no, this actually could be very interesting. I think we can definitely tailor what we're doing here towards this.
Yeah, I already wrote a message to the project officer of Helmholtz. So
Wonderful.
maybe he already have said shown our prospectus.
We are disseminating the prospectus.
Yeah.
Okay, so the is this just a rolling call, or this is the 2023 version?
It's a 2023 version. And let me see. The project call. The 2023 project call is closed.
That's fine.
Yeah. So next probably will be announced later.
Yeah, that's fine. So we'll just put this under watch list.
Yeah.
This is a good find though. Do we know if Don's has anything similar? Helmholtz and Don's are somewhat similar organizations. Would SURF have grants that they what
Well,
other
I think it is better to have a search over EOSC.
Mhm.
I will do it today in the evening, and maybe we will find something.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it is a commitment. Okay, sounds good. Um, yeah, let me know what you find. And I think ultimately this is just a conversation with other folks from the working group around what they would like to put in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, and may you put our propositions for the round tables in the agenda document?
Yeah, I'll do that. So then the next thing that we have is, I think we've already talked about RDA, plenary, ideation, and networking enough between the two of us. So the last thing that we need to talk about, which is actually very fitting because Chris is on the call, is the
Yeah.
blog post. I've gone through everything except these sentences right here. So I'm actually gonna duplicate this and work on those on the side really quickly because I'm almost done. But if you want to start going for it, I think we can chat from the beginning. What are your
Let's
thoughts?
let's better check from the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, for the Jonas comment, I may only leave it to you because now it doesn't seem so let's say mixed British and American. But I'm as a not a native speaker, I can say nothing.
This is a continuous problem for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, so your first comment you left, it's about the words database fragmentation. So I replied on it.
Okay, sounds good. Also, we've been Puppy's been having some problems, so I'm getting the signal to go outside. I'm gonna switch
Yeah.
up cell phone, which means I have to stop screen sharing, and go off video. So if you don't mind, I will be right back.
Okay. Okay. Please do. Chris, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm here.
Would you like to go through the RDA blog post very quickly?
Yes, of course.
Alrighty, sorry about that, Andre. I'm back.
Okay.
Okay, so if you want to go from the top, I think before we get started on individual comments, the way that I would love to phrase this blog post and kind of a large part of what I would like to say surrounding it is that these decentralized web technologies can expand past the DPID system. What we've really built here is a proof of concept, a proof of existence that this can be done. More work can be done with reverse compatibility, but it's intended to be an examination of existing systems and what can be in a non-confrontational and non-judgmental manner, I think is what I'm going with there. Does that
It is,
align with where you're going?
yes, but it's already written here, I guess, on the last paragraph on the first page.
Yeah. Well, we don't want to include that at the very end. We probably want to include it closer to the beginning as well.
Yes. Would you like to move it somewhere and to rephrase it?
Maybe. More so, I think the comment about database fragmentation. While I understand where you're going with that comment, it's more just a linguistic thing, where it's technically accurate to say database fragmentation, but would it be possible for us to rephrase into something like distributed or federated ownership of database, or how could we rephrase that? Because generally, database fragmentation would have a negative
Well,
connotation to it.
yeah, about the federated sovereignty, I guess it would be something like that. But the terms for me seem like, let's say, some kind of difficulty to understand what exactly we mean here.
Okay.
So,
Would you mind sharing your screen as you're doing this?
yes,
Sorry.
yes. Let me see, because sometimes I have from Linux. Okay, do you see it?
Cool. Yes.
Okay, so this is a database fragmentation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with which terms do you like to replace replace this, because database fragmentation, yes, it's too, let's say, for even from technical point of view, it's more generalized thing here.
Well, I
I
guess
mean,
yeah.
for me, it makes sense. What was your comment about this, Eric?
My comment about this is database fragmentation, while it is a technical term, has a negative connotation, and I want this to be a non-confrontational article.
Yes, it may make sense here, because
So
the blog post
you
is,
could say so yeah, so essentially it's like you have all of these systems have their own backend and their own database systems, right? So you have siloed databases, and these databases do not talk to each other at a protocol level. They don't talk. They're isolated
Yeah.
systems. And then we have so it is a fragmented database. Now, this is the default. It's a bit strange to say this, because you could say that any Web2 application is a fragmented database, right? Which is technically true, because there's no global database for all data. So federated resolution, yes, I think so. Essentially, what we are the resolution mechanism is the redirection actually is federated. The resolution itself is at the mercy of the web application, right? So it's at the mercy of the web application. So a way to
Yes.
say this would be that each register manages the underlying systems of a prefix-based lookup of a centralized prefix-based lookup table without, well, with disjointed or without, how do you put it in a non-confrontational way? I mean, we can talk about with federated redirection, right? Federated URL redirection leading to inconsistent resolution and non-interoperable databases, or maybe that's something like that. And non-interoperable is a really bad word.
Yep.
Or independent databases, or yeah, there's an idea here, right? I think fragmented databases kind of captures it. Disjointed, or
but well, fragmented databases could be read as something really technical, because we should just to say that the independent database are replicated from the will of the administrating authority.
Yep.
So database fragmentation would be.
Am I overthinking this and we should just keep database fragmentation?
No, I think it's good. It's a good point to improve, because I think we want the audience to be a little bit more general. So while it is a technically correct term, I think it's important to spell it out what it means.
Okay.
Well, data discretion.
How's this? And
Yeah, now probably it seems that we have said everything we wanted to say.
yes, I'm fine with that. And I'm just deleting the extra sentence to make it a little bit more readable.
Yes, okay.
Okay, cool. Then the next comment. Yeah, so my comment here in the centralized paragraph around ROAR and ORCID, essentially what we say is that a centralized system is fit to purpose because it doesn't need to scale to massively large numbers, and a trusted authority can yield efficiency and, quite frankly, simplicity, while in ORCID's case, also adding additional benefits that aren't typically associated with PIDs like single sign-on. So it's a fit to purpose use case. Part of what I want to say for this aspect is that, you know, DOI is fit to purpose for manuscripts, and has kind of been tailored to the things that it is best suited to do. How would y'all go about phrasing? Do you understand where I'm trying to go with that, first and foremost? It's
Yeah, I
basically
understand.
to the DOI paragraph.
So yeah, but we can also to transform this paragraph to what did you say right now? May we add here a couple of sentences just to say about this and leave it? What do you think?
I think that's okay.
Yeah, so let's try.
Um,
How would we?
I wouldn't stress the non-profit nature of it because it's essentially bankrolled by the users, the publishing industry, and it creates tremendous value for that industry. I think, and there's also the registration agencies as well, right? And I think it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, as with centralized PID systems, they are fit for purpose for manuscripts. Yeah, I think this is the main point, right? It's really important to explain
Yeah.
that we're using legacy technology that was designed for something else, which is indexing manuscripts, right? Indexing books, indexing journals, indexing written artifacts, and we're now retrofitting that system to all sorts of other artifacts. And this has been the path up to now, and it doesn't work. It doesn't scale well, doesn't allow for version control, doesn't allow for interoperability, doesn't allow for consistent resolution. Essentially, it has a technical debt.
And it has also let's say that theoretical limits.
Exactly, yeah. It has technical limits, it has technical depth, it has it's a system that has been adapted beyond its initially planned scope, and it's natural and it's completely normal that it has these limitations as a result.
The technical limit of DOI's federated architecture are being approached as the system is closing in on 1 billion persistent identifiers.
Yeah, get the exact number from Crossref and DataCite if you talk about manuscript, because it's less than that. I think it's less than that.
Well, if we're talking about DOI and the handle system as a whole, it's more than just academia, right? They've got
yes.
I've seen numbers like 300 million, 500 million. It's within an order of magnitude of 1 billion.
Yes, I think so too. Yep, that's correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can leave it here, this value, because still it's around as we are talking about the underlying replication.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is, like, why does it not scale beyond that? Because in principle, it's just a lookup table. It could have 1 trillion entries. It's not a problem, right? But why doesn't scale beyond that? It's not a problem of the DOI registry per se. It's a problem of the federated model around the DOI that says
Yeah,
that you're essentially, it pushes the buck down to the infrastructure provider. And it says to the
Uh,
infrastructure provider, it's like, fine, well, you have now 1 trillion data artifacts. Okay, we'll mint you 1 trillion DOIs. And you'll pay if you use Crossref, you'll pay $1 trillion. But even let's ignore the cost. Imagine it's $0, right? Imagine
yeah,
it costs $0 on behalf of the registration agency to record this 1 trillion PID. Why does that not scale? It doesn't scale because you put the onus of responsibility to maintain the URL to PID mappings. So to maintain the correct URL mapping to the correct DOI, you put that responsibility on the infrastructure provider. You're passing the buck down the line. Now, as an infrastructure provider, maintaining stable links over so many artifacts is an absolute nightmare. Absolute nightmare. Every time I do a database migration, God help me, right? Every time I update the back end of my system, God help me. It's a for a software developer, it's very, very critical to maintain those mappings, but it requires a tremendous amount of care. Things can break, and there's no innate checksum function, right? So that
yeah,
means there's no way for a developer to say, oh my God, the checksums are failing, right? So that means there's a problem here. The only thing that can be tested, and this is because of the error responses on the web, right, are 404s and these types of error codes, standardized error codes. And they tell you if the resource is not available anymore. But they're not going to tell you if the resource has changed. Because
yeah.
there's no
So
snapshot and there's no way to verify, to checksum the data you're distributing.
the
So
most,
essentially, you
yeah,
have blinders on, right? As a infrastructure provider, you don't know what's failing, you don't know what has changed. You have the responsibility to maintain trillions of records. It's a huge cost. So it's not that centralized lookup tables cannot scale into trillions. Yeah, they can. They can do so very efficiently. But the problem is in the federated nature of that system. Like now, if we contrast that to DPID, on DPID, we say, well, you're an infrastructure provider. Here's some libraries so that you can mint a PID for any arbitrary number of objects and link these together, and they all have an individual PID, and you will not have any problems with content drift, and you will not have any problems with maintaining information integrity because all of this is built in. And so it dramatically simplifies your database management and the database management to the exposition of URLs from your web applications, right? So that's a big ease of life situation, right? Now, if you want to do this with, let's say, data sites today, right? You have a data set and you want a PID. You'll typically request a single PID for research data. Now, that research data could contain 1,000 million, who knows how many individual objects, right? And another big issue is you have no idea how to do versioning, right? So DOIs do not, a centralized lookup table again can support versioning. That's not a, impossibility. It's actually, it can do that. But the infrastructure itself was not made with versioning in mind. So the individual PID contained no information concerning how they changed, when they changed, and the history of change, right?
exactly. Well, I think, Chris, your speech now should be included as an individual video on our YouTube channel because it's exactly
Great,
what
I'm
we
happy
should
you like it.
say,
I'm happy I have people
exactly
that
what we
love to
should
talk
say
about this.
about these problems.
Yeah.
And especially for the problems of a federated aspect, because it's one of the most important topics being discussed now in Freya, in LIPS. and in the Pandata. So we can, I think, even share this part of the video if you don't mind. Yeah, and
Sorry, you're breaking up, Andre. Sorry,
Yes, he's
I
totally
don't
fine
hear you.
with you sharing this part of the video.
sorry.
He's totally fine with you sharing this part of the video. I think that was a wonderful
Perfect.
explanation.
Yeah,
And
perfect.
honestly, we should get the transcript from that, clean it up, and put it in here somewhere.
Well, as always, I will make subtitles automatically running an AI model.
Cool.
Then cut the video into the parts, share just just this part and the whole video in my own YouTube channel, and then send the IPFS links to you with subtitles and with the chat. I need just an initial CID to download the initial version of the video.
Yep, I will make sure you get that.
Yeah.
Okay. So continuing on, I think there were two different things. So we had talked about, if you scroll up just a little bit prior to this comment, we had talked about, oh no, never mind, it's further down. I apologize. I put in a couple links if we go to the comment itself. Sorry, I got lost in the blog post.
Just a sec, I will try to find it.
Scroll down, scroll down.
Yes, I'm scrolling down to see.
There we
Yeah,
go.
here we go.
So I added some blog posts, one about credible neutrality from Vitalik, which I think plays a key role here. Another around something called a hyperstructure, which is the idea of autonomy for any of these decentralized systems. And they're related to this, but I guess the format of a blog post from the decentralized web doesn't exactly scream credibility. Unfortunately, that's just how developers in the decentralized web communicate more often than not. It's through that and through code itself. So I think I'm torn as to whether or not it makes sense to provide these resources, given that it could potentially be a hit to credibility in a more academic-centric environment.
Well,
Uh,
for me, it's quite normal, and because I know how Vitalik writes, so there is I think we can keep these links. Chris, what do you think?
yeah. We can keep these ranks. It also do serve as a rallying call for other like-minded people in the space who would be interested. And honestly, I mean, it's just high-quality content.
Yeah, the hyperstructures one has a lot of GIFs in it. I think that's as much.
Oh, that one I would not put on.
Okay.
The credible neutrality one, I'm absolutely fine. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Okay, then I'll put these on there. We'll just put credible neutrality and we're good to go.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. One quick question before we go to the next comment. What's with the bolded content here? What singular message were you trying to highlight with this?
Well, as I remember here, uh, I bolded this as the exact message what we need to about what we need to say about the strong sides of decentralization.
Okay. And I'm fine with that. Can we take out the bolding here for single server versus whole network?
Yes, we can get rid of this.
What's happening?
Yeah.
Go away. I'm going to go off of suggesting and just get rid of it. All right, cool. Then I'm fine to keep this part highlighted. That makes perfect sense. So down to the next comments. Okay, this is the one I wanted to talk to you about. The consensus network and PID space capacity. So is what we're presenting in this article one architecture, which came from Expands, and then one implementation, which came from DeSci Labs, as separate possible solutions, or as one cohesive example?
I think as a cohesive example.
Okay. I need to know more about what you mean by consensus networks.
Just the data integrity, what we have automatically out of the box implemented in our infrastructure. So it's probably I just selected the wrong term, and we can rephrase it.
Yeah, it's not consensus. It's a open state data network, right?
Yes.
So I think this is
Yes.
one thing we can define. So it's an open state data network, which I think is it's a technical term I came up with. I think it's a good term and it can be defined very precisely.
Do you have a link to any definition?
So
I think there's something.
no, I made it up.
Okay.
No,
But
I
I'm
think
working
there
on it.
actually
It's
is something in the notes docs.
But I can send you a snippet. I'm writing stuff about it. So I'm actually like, I'm the process. It's not going very fast, but I'm writing a white paper on the role of open state data networks as a substrate for storing scientific artifacts and how this links to the goals of different Reformation movements within science. But yeah, open state data networks is essentially the opposite of a closed wall, like a closed like a walled garden, right? A Web2 silo or a fragmented database, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but well, for us it could be perfectly understandable, and we should just stay ensured that someone else will understand this term. Because
yeah, we might put a footnote.
Yeah, we can put a footnote, but I don't know if the footnotes.
Or we can define it also. We could define it. Well, you know, we could just define it in the blog post when we talk about the advantages. I think we should frame it as I think open state data networks is a good framing. So we can define it, and we can define it as essentially a shared database where the states of the database are shared. So the database is like has multi-client, multi-tenancy baked in, and it's also credibly neutral in the sense that it does not allow any group to be privileged above any other, and it cannot have its access to the network closed off by any central authority.
May you write it down very quickly?
So
maybe
Erik, right? I already forgot what I said, but I'm on the phone. That's why I can't really write on the doc here.
Okay, sorry.
But yeah,
Sorry.
but
Well,
yeah, an open state data network is you get the gist, right? It's
Yeah.
you know what I mean about with that, right? And so it has this. It's a good framing. You can actually use that term. You can actually think of DPID as a PID system for open state data networks, right?
Yes.
So open state data networks are credibly neutral. People cannot be excluded from them. People cannot be prejudiced. So it doesn't discriminate, and it provides information integrity. And it has three prerequisites to make a viable multi-client open state database. You need to have security over the data itself. You need to have security over the provenance of the data itself. So the entity that created the data entry. And you need to have security over the timestamp of that data entry. So these are three properties that you need in order to have multi-tenancy, multi-client databases that are permissionless, right? They're credibly neutral.
Yeah, so I wrote it down. I think we could say for here, for this blog post like this. What do you think?
Yeah, so IPFS is one such. Let me see, PID. Yep.
In such a system, no participant or a group of participants could be considered as privileged, prioritized, or the given data or metadata.
Yeah, in their access or ability to write to, you know, and these open state data networks to function as multi-client databases, but it's not even multi-client, it's like multi-server databases, right? It's like as multi-user databases that provide a secure, that provide data security, integrity, so that provides security and integrity over the data, over the provenance of the data, and over the timestamp. So essentially it's the who, the what, and the when, what, right?
Yeah.
So, and this is important because you do not want anyone to be able to come in and delete your records, right? You do not want someone to say he's someone else. You do not want to start shifting around timestamps, right? So that information needs to be tamper-proof for these networks to function. That's a strong requirement. And you could think of IPFS as a building block of an open state data network, right? Because IPFS has now no inbuilt provenance mechanism, for example. It doesn't have any chronological oracle, right? So it doesn't tell you when things happen. It doesn't know this. But it does offer the data security part and the networking layer, the data networking layer, right? But what's missing from IPFS is the ability to add provenance to data and the ability to have a timestamp over that data. And then if we want to go into the details, the ability to query data at scale in a fine-grained way, right?
Yes, right.
So,
I wrote the following sentence. In such a system, Open State Data Network provides both data availability redundancy and the PID space capacity for the other participants without needing to establish social trust. In such a system, no participant or a group of participants could be considered as privileged or prioritized on the given data or metadata in their access or ability to perform crude operations. It provides privacy, security, and integrity provenance for both data, metadata, and timestamps linked to.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I would say privileged or discriminated against.
Okay. Makes sense.
Or essentially, you know, it treats everyone equally, right? It's like,
yes.
And you know, it also provides permissioning over the data streams, right? So like, if there's a data stream that you created, I cannot go on the network and erase it or change it or these kinds of things, right?
Yeah.
But if I make my own data stream, now I'm in control of that data stream. I can do CRUD operations over it.
Yeah, so I will add the term sovereignty.
And I think it's not really CRUD operation, it's CRU, because deletions are a bit wonky in these open state data networks. Like, prove me that the data has been deleted is a hard question.
Yeah, okay.
But
to perform,
but it's no, it's fine. It's fine. Just keep it simple.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, so I think that's the thing. So essentially, the contrast in the argumentation is saying, well, we are piggybacking off a system that was made to index scientific manuscripts and provide a persistent link. That persistent link is just a federated redirection system. That's all it is. And on the other end of that, we have closed state platforms, right? So as the contrast to open state data networks, we have closed state data platforms, right?
Right.
So here, we are contrasting a federated redirection model that functions with these closed state data platforms to a model that says we use an open state data network, which gives us deterministic resolution, right? So what does that mean? That means the responsibility to ensure the mapping between the PIDs, their respective versions, and all of this is no longer essentially gets pushed one layer up in abstraction, right? So that means a repository provider can perform CRUD operations on the network without needing to set up their own bespoke Postgres database or whatever it is to build their closed state data silo, right?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I just wanted to ask you, Chris, about the possible participation in the OSC symposium. So, because it will be really great opportunity, I guess.
Sure. When is it?
Do you have an access to our document with conference proposals? It's here. It will be held in Berlin. I will.
Oh, sorry, it's
Yeah.
cutting.
Yeah, I will share the link.
Sorry, it's choppy right now, the connection. Oh, I didn't hear you, Andre.
I'm sharing now the link to our spreadsheet.
Chris, I also sent it to you over Telegram.
Yeah,
We
so
can
now
chat about this. It would be a good talk for the symposium. We can chat about this async, because I think we've got some time. The symposium's not until October, so we've got some time.
Yes, this is why I'm asking now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. October seems absolutely fine for me. Yes.
So, would we say that we have agreed on this paragraph, or we need to change something more?
The only thing left is PID space capacity. I'm fine to be the one to approve the sentence that you had here. What exactly did you mean by PID space capacity?
The thing it's let's say someone would be willing to share some space to have to pin a lookup table for some prefix.
Oh, yeah. So here
Because
we
the
do this
prefix is,
differently right now. Yeah.
yeah, because the prefix probably will be the first demand we will hear from the customers. Because it's
Yeah.
the thing that everyone has.
Yeah, this is like namespace compatibility. So ideally, we can build a system. So what we want to say also is that we're building a new PID technology and not a new PID standard. I think that's important because that means you can retrofit any existing PID namespace with the DPID system with a system of aliases, right?
Yes.
These are essentially like URL aliases in which you have a lookup table that maps a namespace to a hash, right? Like a DPID IPFS object, right?
Exactly.
So the way
Yeah.
we currently do this is we register the alias on a blockchain smart contract. And that is actually the only way to solve Zuko's triangle, which is the desirable properties of a namespace, which are decentralized, secure, and human meaningful. Now you can take human meaningful and you can say just short links, right? Or any arbitrary type of schema or pre-existing namespaces, right? So in order to be able to retrofit an existing namespace while preserving decentralization and security, you can do that only up to the limit of Byzantine fault tolerance. And the upper limits of Byzantine fault tolerance, the higher upper limits that we have are achieved by blockchains.
Well, yes, from the total decentralized point of view, it's like that. But well, so here it always comes to to dedication of some namespace to some organization.
Yeah,
So
so it's a tricky part. So like the prefix assignment part. So there's two different questions, I think. There's the question about, can we build a system that assigns prefixes? And the answer to that is yes, we can do it in a secure and decentralized way, and we do not need blockchains.
yeah,
Because a prefix can be a hashed object, for example, or a lot of things. But if we want to say, can I retrofit my existing prefix? If I want to use my existing DOI prefix or my existing prefix assigned by Crossref,
I don't know
now
if
this is tricky, right?
yeah, I don't know. Yes, but I don't know if we exactly need exactly this. I don't know if it is so strongly needed to retrofit. But the prefixes as the objects, I think we should have. But about the retrofitting, I have doubts.
Yeah, I think we just need to gather feedback from people and figure out what they
Yeah.
like. Yes,
So-
agreed on that.
I think we're good with this. If you're okay with this terminology, then it's clear for me.
For me, it's also clear. So I agree.
All right.
But yeah, I owe you me going over this and taking a couple of hours and just going through. I can probably do it before our next meeting next week. So yeah, and I'll add my detailed comments on this.
You're saying this document, Chris?
Yes.
Okay. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Continuing on with some of these comments, are we okay to remove the cost of computation aspect and focus primarily on digital signature mechanisms to prove identities?
Yeah. So I would say I think it's a good occasion also to cite the decentralized identifier W3C spec that has been approved and is being adopted.
Yes, but here we also have them.
Oh yeah. Okay, it's all good.
Okay. Then next comment for me. I guess based on some of our conversations in this call, this particular comment may not be quite as relevant. But the third-party side aggregation aspect of this, I mean, for starters, we may want to focus more primarily on DPID itself as opposed to the current system. And then beyond that, wanted to talk more about cross compatibility or backwards compatibility to existing DOI namespaces, but seems like that may be a challenge of its own. So if it's okay with y'all, Chris, would you mind just taking a pass at this paragraph and seeing what fits?
Okay. Yep. We're all several different PAC. Yep.
This is all Chris's problem now.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. So how it can be an implemented technical proof of concept. Chris, the only thing I need your help with on this at the moment is verifying the PKI section at the bottom. If you scroll down.
This one.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah, so I saw this and I was going to comment on that when I did my first pass on that. Yeah.
Okay, well, if you'd rather hit that later, that's fine.
Yeah, so I think so the thing is we don't need to so we do talk about DIDs, right? Because I think here PKI, so DIDs are a type. Well, let's put it this way. DIDs need a PKI, so PKI is a public key infrastructure. Side tree is a way to create scalable PKIs. So we don't need, this is redundant in a sense.
So if we just take
So
out,
do we have
is it
DIDs in there?
to-
If you go up, did you mention DIDs?
Yeah, it's linked right here. Well,
Yeah,
we
but
meant
it's a building block, right? So like if you
Yeah.
you have IPFS, you have side tree, you have DIDs.
so we've got
So it's a
IPFS, IPLD, blockchain, side tree, and within side tree we mentioned DIDs.
I would add DID.
Yes, we mentioned it.
Well, yes. Okay. I wouldn't necessarily mention the things at Orchid.
Okay.
Because Orchid essentially it's yeah, I mean it's a centralized service, so it's a bit weird.
Yeah,
We do this
we
as
can
a
remove
growth
this.
hack, you know. It's a growth hack. It's more than a technological clean choice.
All right, fair enough.
Yes,
We'll put
yes.
something here around DIDs and just make a comment around Chris to
Yeah, you yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
All
these
right.
decentralized identifiers is probably more important than site tree. Site tree is a methodology to create scalable DIDs and scalable, decentralized, secure, and human meaningful identifiers for DID documents. So probably if you want to trim this down, we could just add DIDs here or keep side tree in there. It's okay.
Okay.
Not a big
Okay.
deal. I'm fine both ways, right?
All right. Are we good with just I'm gonna approve all of these language changes real quick. And then I don't know if you had any immediate questions on the things that I put in, Andre, but hopefully this is to a point where we are good to talk about it tomorrow. I'm happy with the whatchamacallit, with the general flow of this and the vernacular.
Yeah, well,
Or
I am happy enough with this document, and I think I think we will send it for the pre-moderation. Maybe on Friday if we would be lucky enough.
well, do we
Yeah, I
want
mean
to
it's
give Chris a few days?
it is yeah, it is a nice document. I like where this is going. I'm kind of wondering if we should mention indexing and search.
So
Like
it's
it's
possible
so
that this
so
will be the first part of a larger series. If you're going into decentralized indexing, all of the side tree ceramic codex stuff, that may just have to be another post.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's also how I'm feeling about it. Yeah,
yeah.
could be
So
just too much.
once it will be this document accepted, it will be a series of posts, I guess.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Okay, then I think we're good on this, and we're already half an hour over
Yeah.
the time limit today. Good discussions, though. Is there anything
Yeah,
urgent that we need to go over right now?
From my side, no. I only will go through the agenda for tomorrow, and also I'm kindly ask you guys to take a look too and see what we need to add because after today we need to add something.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We can do that. And we may want to see if we can fit the website changes into the call tomorrow as well, as
Yeah.
Carla taking a first pass on that one.
Yeah. Can you add these questions to the agenda?
Yeah, will do.
Great, great. Thank you. And well, I will work on the video, and also on the I will download the templates and see the requirements for the conferences.
Okay, that works.
Which video is this?
The one
Our video we are recording now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that means I will run the AI model to subtitle it and then cut it to be shared partially.
Nice. Great. One thing I wanted to mention for these videos that we're posting, we should have a cover image with the DPID working group.
I mean, we kind of do. Have you seen the YouTube channel?
Well, we
send
can, yeah,
They
we can
do
do just if you have a link to some image, I will share it.
a pretty bland black and white PowerPoint slide. Just what the meeting was, what day it was, and then the DSci Foundation logo at the bottom.
No, I think that's probably fine then. So it's just because the initial ones didn't have that. So good.
Yeah, it will be a good idea. And yeah, it's also could be an Google document.
Okay, sounds good.
Great.
Well,
Okay.
I'll get you this video shortly, Andre, and pleasure as always. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you,
to
Andre.
you.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks to you, and see you tomorrow.
All righty. See you
See
tomorrow.
you. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. Ciao.